Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us for ProValue Media's Market Like a Pro series. My name is Rick Cruz Jr., your digital and print marketing partner, and I will be your moderator for today. Today's guest is the Executive Director from United Way of Laredo. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with United Way, for over 70 years, United Way of Laredo has been working behind the scenes and helping 23 local agencies that provide services that meet our day-to-day basic needs for survival. Things like food, clothing, and shelter. Now, during these times is when these agencies are needed the most to help our local community. And here to talk about these agencies is Miss Peggy Duncan. Miss Peggy, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good, good. How are you enjoying your self-quarantine?
Well, we have been hard at work, so it has not been as much as a quarantine as everybody else. Part of what we do as United Way is the 211 call center, and so we are essential, and so our call center has been open this entire time, and so my quarantine has been at work.
No, I know what you mean. I've been in this office for this little bubble of ours for a while, so I know exactly what you mean. I kind of wanted to jump right into it, and you mentioned 211 right now. Now, for the people that don't know 211 is basically a service, a free local service that anyone can dial and get any information, especially right now that people don't know where to do and where to go. What other kind of information can we find on those 211 number?
So actually 211 is a statewide service. We here, United Way of Laredo, cover Webb, Zapata, and Jim Hawk counties. But actually, anywhere in the state of Texas, you can dial 211 and get a call center with a call specialist that can provide you with information for basic information and referral. It's available 24/7 and in 90 different languages. So we're here to connect people to the services that they need during everyday crises or during disasters or crises like we're going through right now. So right now, what we as 211 are getting, we're getting a lot of phone calls of people that are, one, looking to see what are the symptoms for COVID, where they can get testing. There's a lot of phone calls also about stimulus, food pantries, assistance with financial needs. We also recently, when the president announced the Paycheck Protection Program, questions on that, where they could obtain more information. Because 211 in Texas is part of the Texas Health and Human Service Commission, you also get a lot of information on your Texas benefits. So food stamps, TANF, basic Texas benefits. We help refer you to that information. We, as United Way, only provide local information and local resources. But because it's a statewide network, we have information available across the state. And that's the beauty of this system, is because if, let's say here in Laredo, we're having a heat wave and for some reason ACs are down and we can't open, Panhandle, Alamo, Gulf Coast, they pick up our calls so that our services are not interrupted. Likewise, if in Austin or Dallas or Houston, they're having a snowstorm and they have to close down, then we pick up those calls. So before this pandemic, our calls usually were maybe about 3,000 a month. Right now, we're doing practically 6,000 to 7,000 calls a month because of the increase. And we've also increased our hours at the recommendation of the state to be able to provide for the amount of calls that are coming in. We used to, as a network, maybe get maybe 5,000 calls in a day, and right now we've peaked at 15,000 calls in one day. So
wow,
yes,
we've
seen a lot of calls coming in for people looking for information.
And if you don't mind me asking, obviously because of the COVID-19 situation that everyone's going through, I mean, I'm assuming that the majority of those calls are because of that. Is that correct?
Yes, that number that I'm giving you are basically what we've recorded in COVID calls. Usually our regular calls are, again, people looking for information on their food stamps. Either they've missed the appointment and they need to get the appointment redone. So we'll connect them with the Texas benefits, or information on, again, food pantries. We also have a lot of seasonal information, like the summer food program. We give that information, or income tax, where the VITA sites are available. during Christmas, if there's Christmas programs available where families can go to register for these programs. But we're here 24/7. If somebody's looking for where they can call to get more information, we will help get them that information.
That's excellent. And I'm glad that this 211 number exists because I guess social media is a double-edged sword. You know, there's a lot of good information out there, but it's also a lot of bad misinformation out there where people don't understand it. And 211 is a really easy number to remember. and
Yes.
like you said, it's all local information. You're not going to get information about something else, which brings me to my next question. I know for a time being, there was this little misinformation that another, obviously United Way of Laredo is for only Laredo, and there's different type chapters in different cities. And one there was some misconfusion recently that there's this United Way COVID relief fund that was happening where people were calling in thinking that they could benefit from you guys. Did you want to clarify something about that?
So yeah, one of the things with branding with United Way is that you need to put a localizer on there as to where your United Way is from, because every United Way is different. Here we have our board of directors that decides what we do. So do all the United Ways across the nation and the world, really. And so they decide what we do. This was, I believe, in Iowa, Iowa or Indiana. I don't remember, but that United Way had put out on social media, call United Way for information on how you can get assistance. And they had their number though. And that's how that you can tell that it's not a local application, but we did start getting, people were spreading it and people were calling, and we don't have local relief fund for individuals. What we are doing locally is that we've established a relief fund, COVID emergency relief fund, to be able to provide assistance to our agencies that are providing direct service to people in need. Right now, everybody has seen in the social media and on the news, the food bank. The South Texas Food Bank is one of our agencies, and so our support of them helps them to be able to continue to provide services. We also have agencies like the Salvation Army that are providing assistance. Holding Institute is also providing assistance. The Catholic Charities is providing assistance. But there's also agencies that are out there that are still providing their daily services. They may not be open to the general public, but they have their clients that they maintain services to. And I'm talking like agencies like Sacred Heart Children's Home. Even though they're not open to the public, they still continue having to quarantine with their children in the children's home. So our funding to them helps them to be able to continue their services to the children. Or like the Kidney Foundation, you know, patients have to have dialysis in order to live. And so the Kidney Foundation continues to provide assistance to their patients. So these are just a couple of the 23 agencies that are out there that United Way supports in their efforts to provide needs to people in our community daily.
Right, and it is 23 agencies, and that's amazing because you guys do great work by, again, you guys fundraise pretty much all year to disperse these funds to these agencies. And again, everything is done with the board. So the board is looking at how the money is being spent. You know, so if they say this is going to be spent for X amount of dollars for X amount of food or light or whatever they may be, but that's pretty much how you guys manage the funds. So it is overseen a lot, and I have been I haven't been part of that process, but I have seen a little bit of that process, and it is very, very specific. You know how you guys get down to, especially with those agency visits. You guys have regular agency visits to go check up on those agencies to make sure that they are doing the things that they say they're doing, not just getting money because they applied for it. So that's something that's super important. And I wanted to also mention, like you mentioned, the food bank, Salvation Army. There's also Bethany House as well, Holy Institute, Sacred Heart, Scan, Gateway. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. I know we're leaving now. I hope they don't get upset, but but we'll make sure we'll put them at the very end to make sure that so everyone can see all the different types of agencies that you guys serve. Laredo Crime Stoppers, Ruth B. Cowell Rehabilitation. So there's a whole bunch of things. I know the 3 pillars that you guys kind of focus on is basically food and shelter, health and safety, and I believe youth and education. And basically that's how you guys categorize your agencies. And that's pretty amazing because that's kind of how, I guess the community, what our community needs, and that's how it's basically broken down to, right? And that's what you guys help with. So that's pretty awesome. That's amazing. I remember earlier we were talking about other agencies that were affected, and one of the ones that you mentioned to me was the Gateway Community Health Center. And I know that they're also been on the front lines pretty much of what's going on, because they have to, again, people are feeling a little sick, might be sick, and they want to get some help. And what can you tell me about the Gateway Community Health Center?
They, what we fund for them is their dental program, but they have a bunch of programs to provide for individuals. They have clinics, they have women's clinics, diabetic clinics, they have pediatric physicians on site. And what they do is they have patients that go in. You register to be one of their patients. Depending on your income is the fee that you pay. It's on a sliding scale. And what they're doing right now is, Mara shared with me that they're doing COVID screenings to see where you're at. If you have, there's certain things that you have to go through before you can test, right, for COVID. And it's the fever, the cough, the, I'm trying to think of what the other one, the difficulty breathing, the body aches. You have to have 3 of those symptoms in order to move forward to the testing, right? And I know right now our city is doing testing, but in order to test, again, you have to go through that pre-screening, you know, and in many cases our individuals or patients are going directly to their doctors to be able to have that pre-screening and be tested, and the doctor does a test and forwards it. But there's some people that don't have physicians or physicians' offices that are closed. And so Gateway was doing that pre-screening to be able to get people to that next phase in case they were worried that maybe they were carrying the virus.
Wow, that's amazing. That's scary but amazing.
Yes, you know, we were talking about heroes. They're heroes right up there at the front line providing assistance to individuals.
Is there anything you also want to cover?
I think one of the things that it's important for everybody to realize is that our role as United Way is to network, right? And like right now during this crisis, I have people that if they have extra lettuce, is an example I can think of, they call us, and so we have tried to connect them to an agency that can use that resources. And that's what United Way has always been here for, to connect people to the services they need, whether it's lettuce, whether it's somebody that's looking for a shelter during a domestic violence incident, somebody who's trying to find out where there's a COVID testing site. That's what we try to do. And as I mentioned earlier, the 211 program, this is the only program that we directly provide out of this office. Everything else that we do through United Way, we support agencies who help provide the services directly to the people in the community. So we are as good as our community, and we are a success because of our community and our board of directors. It's a partnership. One cannot work without the other. And I'm very blessed that I've been able to be here in this position for so many years and to work with so many incredible people. You know, it's not easy to see the need and the calls and the people that are in dire need during the situation and the uncertainty that exists right now. I know that when we get calls, people call and they may not, they're unsure and they're scared. And through the 211 call center, we're able to connect them to a resource or provide that reassurance that, you know, it's okay. We're going to be okay. We're in this together, you know, and together we'll get through it. And we may not have information immediately, but we always tell people, call us back. You know, we're here 24/7. Call us back and maybe we'll have additional information in a couple of days or a couple of hours. So my thing is that we'll get through this together. It's not a easy situation, but our community is very strong and we've always worked together, and together we will survive this.
I agree with you, and that's part of the reason why we reached out to you guys, because I know in the past you guys have had a hero campaigns last year that you guys have had for the last couple of years, and what United Way considers a hero is a little bit of everything. You know, not only is the agencies a heroes because they're providing these services to the community, but also being a hero for the people who want to advocate and also, more importantly, donate. And so there's a lot of different ways of being a hero, and that's kind of what I wanted to mention towards the end. You know, not all heroes wear capes, you know, and we found out recently that a lot of heroes wear now masks because of, you know, because of they're all doctors, truckers, grocery store workers. And that's kind of what I wanted to mention here. Like, not only are they heroes, but you at home, whoever's watching, or at your office, wherever you may be, can also be a hero by donating to this cause. Again, 98% of all the funds that you donate stay here in Laredo. They don't go to some other place. They stay here. So you know that your money is making an impact, and that's super important. And I'll touch on it really quickly, but there are 3 ways to donate to United Way. And one of those ways is by going to their website. It's unitedwaylaredo.org. The second way of doing it is by texting HEROES to 797979. And the lastly is you can also go to, they also accept PayPal donations. So if you have PayPal, or even if you don't, they make it very easy for you guys to donate. And all you got to do is go to paypal.me/UW Laredo, and I'll have that in the bottom of the screen somewhere later here. But we'll have that for you guys here. Thank you guys. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to mention as far as like when it comes to, you mentioned right now the food bank is one of the most, I guess, stressed or busiest, let's say that, busiest agencies right now. What other agencies right now do you see that are being spread thin a little bit right now?
I think it's going to be in cycles. Right now, it's the food bank because food is a necessity. It's basic. Next, because of the unemployment, and that is a lot of phone calls that we're getting also right now, is people trying to get into file for unemployment, and that number is stressed. And so we have callers trying to say, how can I get in? I need to file the income tax with the extension. What is the extension date? You know, it's in cycles. And I think that our next cycle is going to be that, and we're already seeing it, mortgage assistance. You know, even though there is the law was passed in order to not have any evictions done. That doesn't mean that people can't or won't pay their rent or mortgage. They still have to do it. You just have to make arrangements. They can't be evicted right now because the courts are closed because of the pandemic, but you know, they're not working. So how are you going to make that payment? And so we have a lot of people calling attorneys, the legal aid. The next one is those agencies that provide assistance for rent, mortgage, utilities. And then it's going to be, once we get back into the cycle, okay, I need a job. Where can I find a job? Because a lot of people have been laid off. It's a cycle. You know, it's like during a disaster, you have here it comes, okay, it's here, and then you have the recovery. And so once we get past this phase, we'll be in recovery, trying to get everybody back to our norm. And, you know, our norm may be a new norm, you know, with the kids doing distance learning. You know, I can tell you, I never thought in my lifetime that I would see kids not going to school. This is like a new experience for all of us, right? You know,
yeah, it is.
I'm glad that we have this social ability now because our kids are able to continue learning through the distance learning, and thank God for it, because I think they would go stir crazy at home without that additional learning.
I have 2 little girls myself, or 2 little young ladies, and yes, I know what you mean. They're at home, and yes, they're stressing out their mother. But no, definitely that's distancing learning has helped them keep somewhat of a routine. It's not exact, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, like you said, it definitely this self-imposed quarantine that we have has definitely closed us off in a lot of ways, but has also allowed us to think about different ways to communicate with each other, especially through this Zoom call. Like I said, I know normally we would have a face-to-face meeting, but now we're doing Zoom calls. You know, and that we'll be seeing more of those, I'm sure. I know everyone's been doing more and more of those, so that's amazing. So there are some positives like this, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. You said that there is this crisis that's happening will be done in stages. Like you said, right now it's the food bank. Later on, there'll be more assistance. Again, just to put more on top of what you already said is that the new normal is not going to be like what it was before. You know, things are going to be changed. There's going to going to be a lot of different changes. And I think that recovery is going to be different for a lot of different people, depending on everyone's situation, you know, whatever it may be. But the help will be needed. And that's important that you guys are still going to be there for that. So again, thank you guys for that.
Thank you. Thank you for all your support, and thank you for allowing us to do this. This is great. I'm usually very shy and I don't like the camera, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity to spend the time with you, Rick.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Again, guys, I wanted to mention to you guys what you guys are going to be helping out for 23 local agencies that you're going to be helping out. Agencies like the South Texas Food Bank, Gateway, Salvation Army, the Bethany House, Holdings, Boys and Girls Club, Sacred Heart, SCAN, Kidney Foundation, just to name a few. And again, there's 3 ways to donate. One of those ways, again, is unitedwayoflaredo.org. You can go on there, there's a little PayPal button that you can click on there and just press your donation. Another thing that you can also do is you can also text with your mobile phone, text HEROES to 797979. And lastly, if you have a PayPal account or thinking about getting one, you can also go to paypal.me/UW-Laredo. And it'll give you a direct link for you guys to basically donate whatever you can. It doesn't have to be much, but anything is appreciated. Again, it is 23 local agencies that are be servicing here in Laredo, our local Laredo community.